Hey guys, before I start the podcast, a quick introduction. My name is Warnith and I'm the founder of Pet Excel Marketing. Pet Excel Marketing is a marketing agency that specifically works with pet businesses. Over the years, we have worked with pet food brand, pet relocation businesses, pet SaaS companies, pet clothing brand, cat food businesses, dog grooming services, and many other product and service-based pet businesses globally. Our services includes everything from creating graphics to running your ad campaign. Not only that, we have built amazing websites and apps for pet businesses. So if you have a pet business and would like us to help grow it, click on the first link in the description to book a call with our team. Now enjoy the podcast.
Welcome back to Pet Brand Podcast. I'm your host, Warnith, and today we are diving into a topic that every pet owner can relate to, and that's managing pet waste, but in a way that's sustainable and downright genius. Joining us is Anna Gannon, the brilliant mind behind Curbicus, a hands-free, eco-friendly dog waste disposal solution that's changing the game for pet parents everywhere. Anna has taken a messy challenge and turned it into an innovative, sustainable product. Today, we will explore Anna's entrepreneurial story, the challenges she faced, and the incredible potential of Curbicus to revolutionize the way we think about pet care. Get ready for an insightful and inspiring conversation. And now, welcome to the Pet Brand Podcast. Such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.
Amazing, amazing. So yeah, let's kick things off. Like, what inspired you to create Go? Because it's such a unique idea, and I'm just curious about the moment that sparked it.
Well, I grew up in New York City,
Mhm.
and everyone has, not everyone, a lot of people have dogs. And walking down the street, a lot of people would just either leave dog waste on the
Yeah,
street
yeah.
or pick it up in a bag. And when no one was looking, they just toss the bag onto the curb. So I thought, you know what you're doing. Okay, you
Mm,
get a dog, you know this is part of it. Why are you not picking it up? Yes, I know it's gross. We all know it's gross, but you knew that already. So
mhm,
if I could invent a device that worked, obviously, but looked good, because in cities everyone it has to look good, um, that you didn't have to touch the dog waste, then people would be less lazy and more inclined to picking up the dog waste. So that was in 2017. I had the idea. And then after several years of permutations, I really
mhm,
wanted to come up with the iPhone of pooper scoopers.
Amazing. And transitioning from an idea to a final product is definitely never easy, right? So like what were some of the major challenges you faced along the way uh regarding the whole process?
So I have a background in physics and business.
Wow.
So I knew that getting to a real from my the idea from my head to something that works in people's hands was not going to be easy. So
Mhm,
I hired several engineers, and many of them said, no, that's not possible. But I knew if I could imagine it in my brain, it's possible.
mhm,
So after going through several permutations, and I settled on my sixth engineer, who is now my co-founder and CTO, who
mhm,
actually could interpret my vision,
mhm.
and literally 60 something prototypes in the past 6 years.
Oh.
And it's very expensive to do hardware and very, very time consuming, because you get a product,
Mhm,
you the first several were extremely ugly and large and loud, but at least we were getting to the point of vacuum and suction
mhm,
and noise and trying to
mhm,
figure these things out.
mhm,
We got to the prototype. We're at basically the end prototype right now.
mhm.
Um, but it took a very long time to get it in customers' hands and say, what do you like? What do you not like? What are the must-haves? What are the wanna-haves to
Mhm,
get to where we are now?
And do you also have like a patent for this?
Yes, which took years. We have a US fully issued patent. We have a Chinese patent. We have an EU and a UK patent, and it's around the compostable capsules, because anybody can make a vacuum. I mean, there are zillions of vacuums in the world, but it's all about the capsule.
Definitely. And like, I would love to hear more about the personal values that drove you to focus on sustainability. Like, it seems like it's central to your mission.
So my first thought was, let me just make this cool device that people want to be seen carrying.
Mhm.
Um, you want to pick up the dog waste. And then I was doing research, like, okay, what happens to dog waste? So in the US alone, there are 500 million plastic and biodegradable bags going into the landfill each
Mm,
year. Okay,
mm,
and that's an astounding number. And that's just in the US, and that's just bags. That's not people who live, near a forest or a river and they let the dog just go there and they don't pick it up. That's
mm,
another problem. So
mhm,
in this research, I realized that we need to do something with this waste. We can't just put it in the landfill. So
mhm.
that's where I got into this compostable capsule idea, where we should use a compostable, I call it a capsule.
Yeah.
Um, and then down the road, I'd like to compost the waste and transform it into fertilizer
Mm,
to fertilize green spaces like trees and bushes and grass in
mm, mm,
parks.
mm.
Because mixing that with edibles meaning you can't put it on your tomatoes or your lettuce,
Yeah.
it's a different story.
Mhm. Yeah. And just for fun, if Curbicus wasn't your focus, what do you think you would be doing to it? Like, what's another project or passion of yours?
Something in sustainability for sure, thinking long term about um, the planet or something. I currently do not have a dog. I did have a dog. I
Mhm.
had a German Shepherd, and that was not a lot of fun. So, I'm
Why
not
is
particularly,
that? Like specifically why?
but definitely something in sustainability because we as humans are generally selfish and self-absorbed. We don't think about other people and the next generation. So I would definitely be focused on that in
Mhm.
some way.
Mhm. So let's talk about the product development and innovation. So let's dive into the product itself. Like, can you walk me through how the Curbicus device work, like step by step? Curious to know
Sure.
the process. Yeah.
So it's a handheld vacuum,
Mhm.
has a battery operated vacuum. It's bright red, cherry red. It's a very sexy looking vacuum. Has an ergonomic handle, which took us a while to get to this shape. I'll give you an example of many prototype developments. So we had an industrial engineering firm make this handle. And my engineer, he's like 5'8", 5'9", it worked for him. And then my husband came home one day and he's 6'2", and he
Mhm.
tried it. He couldn't even get his hand in the handle. So we
Mhm.
had, well, like, who would have thought of that? I mean, it worked for me, but
Yeah.
it's okay. So
Mhm.
we had to go back to the drawing board on the handle. So you put it, so now it's not large. So the device is less than 2 pounds, just under 2 pounds,
Mhm.
12 inches long. You can attach the dog leash to this clip on top, or if you
Mhm.
don't want to, you don't have to. You can put it in a carrying bag.
Mhm.
And then, your dog does his thing. You put the capsule on, you just press the button. It holds the waste in there if you want to continue on, and the dog does it again. Or if you have another dog, this first device is for dogs 50 pounds and under. And right now, when you get to the garbage bin, you just take it off and put it in there. And right now, it's better than using a plastic and biodegradable bag.
Yeah.
Um, but eventually we want to compost it. So it'll go to the landfill, it'll break down, but
Mhm.
it's not plastic or biodegradable, which breaks down into microplastics. So we're
Mhm.
doing something better. It's not my vision of my complete solution yet, but it's better than what we have right now.
Mhm. And there are definitely other pet waste solution out there, but the Curbicus like feels different. So what do you think make it stand out from the crowd?
It's a zero contact device. Like if you live, let's say, on a farm or in a very rural part of the
Mhm.
country, you can use this like shovel thing, but you're not going to leave your
Mhm.
apartment in New York City with a shovel thing, and you're certainly not going to bring it into your kitchen and wash it in the sink. I mean, that's where I came up with this whole thing. You need something very clean,
Mhm.
um, that doesn't take, it's not heavy to carry outside, that
Mhm.
doesn't get dirty, and that you want to keep using, and that you feel kind of proud carrying it down the street.
Yeah, yeah. And given your focus on sustainability, so are you thinking into expanding into other eco-friendly pet products down the line?
Well, version 2 for larger dogs is definitely something we've already working on.
Mhm.
Am I going into, and oddly enough, we have interns all over the world, and some of them, think, oh, I have a pet rabbit. I could use this on my rabbit. Okay, whatever. It's not just for dogs, it's for
Yeah.
any pet that you'd like. Would we go into other animals? Sure, sure.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And talking more about business model and strategy, scaling is always an exciting challenge, right? So how are you planning to increase productions once Curbicus officially launches?
So our original business model was direct to consumer, which is the razor blade model. You buy the device and then you just sign up for the monthly delivery of the capsules because
Okay.
that's recurring revenue is the capsules. And dogs typically go twice a day.
Mm.
Uh, the average lifespan for this size dog is between 10 and 15
Then,
years.
yeah.
So that's quite a recurring revenue if you think
Mm.
about it. And we're also doing retail.
Okay.
And we have a licensing agreement in place for the EU and the UK.
Wow. Amazing. So during the testing phase, like what kind of feedback did you get from customers? Like were there any surprises or insight that stood out for you?
Yeah. Surprisingly enough, and just this is just generalizations, but for the most part, men were more interested in the zero contact element. They do not want to touch dog poop.
Mhm.
Anything to just not touch dog poop.
Mm.
Women were more like, I have kids, or it's part of my family, the dog. That's not a big deal. I'm
That's
more interested.
interesting insight.
I'm more interested in the sustainability part.
Yeah. So it must be tough to educate new customers. Like, do you use any strategies to help people really understand like how Cobicus works, why it's so beneficial?
Yes.
Yeah.
So part of our social media strategy and part of our strategy anyway is to convince people that there is a problem,
Mm.
that plastic and biodegradable bags sit in landfills for years.
Mm.
Dog waste contains harmful bacteria and parasites that harmful to the environment and to humans. So if you even step in it in the street and you bring it into your house and you have kids playing on the floor, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Uh, and the bags sit in landfills for hundreds of years before they even begin to break down. So
Mhm.
telling people that, first of all, telling them that they're contributing to this is shocking. A lot of people don't want to hear it, A, or B, they don't care. So telling them that all of these problems exist and then showing them that we have a solution is a huge educational process. So that's a lot of our social media. There's a lot of our blog posts are about that. We actually had a student write a white paper on this.
Okay.
So I mean, talking about dog poop is fun, it's funny, it's tongue in cheek, but it is a serious issue.
Yeah. Mhm. Let's talk about a broader industry, pet industry. The pet product industry has changed so much in recent years. So, like, how do you think the market has evolved, and what kind of new trends are you noticing in the pet industry itself?
Well, the pet industry itself is huge.
Yeah.
Fewer people are having children. They're having pets instead. People are living longer. They're lonely. They're getting pets.
Mm.
Pets are part of people's family. There's over 660 million dogs in the US alone.
Wow.
That's a huge number. Um, but specifically, people are spending more on hardware products for pets. Like there are a couple of cat litter boxes that sell for between $400 and $650.
Mhm.
That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. And what do you think one of the biggest challenge the pet industry faces today, and like how does Scobicus aim to address that?
Um, Teaching people about the hazards of pet waste. It's just like people say, why can't I flush it down the toilet? You
Mhm.
can't. It goes into the waterways. It goes into our systems. You just can't do that.
Mhm.
Especially with dogs, dogs are carnivores.
Mhm.
They take heartworm pills, and all this stuff is dangerous.
Yeah, yeah, Definitely. Talking more about your vision and mission and vision. So, at the heart of every brand, it's mission, right? So, what are the core values that guide your company and the work you do?
Well, customer first. Customer has to come first. If there's a problem with the product or they don't like it, or if they said, I thought I would use this every day and I don't,
Mm,
that's okay. We can't be everything to everyone. Not a problem.
mhm.
Customer comes first. Authenticity. People want to hear the story. Like, how did this woman in New York City come up with this and why?
Yeah,
So
yeah. Uh-huh.
people love the story because it's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
So authenticity, transparency. This is how it happened. This is why.
Mhm,
We're evolving and we're going to keep everyone in the loop of what we're doing. And if you have ideas, please tell us, let us know. You people have the pets.
mhm.
So yeah, transparency, communication, and the customer is first, really.
Definitely. Let me ask you some of the personal questions. Like being an entrepreneur is a unique experience, right? So, like, what's your favorite part of running this business?
When people say, I love your idea. Like, hasn't anyone else done it first? I'll tell you why. People haven't done it before because it's expensive and it's time consuming. But when people say,
Yeah.
I love your idea, I
Uh,
mean, that's it. That makes my day.
uh-huh. And what is your typical day in your life looks like? Like, imagine it's always busy, having meetings and all.
Waking up in the morning, I get messages from our manufacturer in China,
Uh-huh.
um, answering those, then reading emails and things for a couple of hours. And then I try not to schedule meetings for the morning because I'm a little a little OCD. I like to have everything answered and done before I do other things.
Yeah, and starting a pet brand is definitely not easy. So, what advice would you give to someone who wants to follow in your footstep and start their own pet business?
Um, do your research and really treat the customer
Hmm,
honesty
hmm.
and understand that pets are part of people's families, that they really are. And that's really important to them. And again, you can't be everything to everyone, but that's their priority. Their pet is their baby.
Yeah, definitely. And the way this whole industry is like people most people don't really understand that pets are the people don't really who don't really have pets, they don't understand like how it feels to have a dog because
Mhm.
they see it as an animal but for a pet parents like it's like literally a baby.
Yeah, it is. And they'll take care of this this fur baby. Yeah, it is part of their family and they really want honesty and they'll they'll reward you for it, meaning, they'll tell you they'll spend time telling you, I like this, I don't like that, and you
Yeah.
have to listen.
Mhm. Also, another question just popped in my mind. It was like a lot of people in the industry say that the pet industry is like recession proof. So, what kind of what's your perception on that?
I do believe that there is an echelon that is completely recession proof.
Hmm.
I do think that there's that group that gets human grade dog food delivered every
Hmm.
month. They get a box of toys every month.
Yeah.
They have their dog's birthday parties. They spend the amount that was spent on Halloween this year, especially in the United States, was insane.
Mhm.
Um, and the treats and stuff like that. I do believe that it's not 100% recession proof, but it's close. Like if
Mhm.
you're gonna, a lot of people will cut back on themselves before they cut back on their pets. And
Mhm.
it's also, especially in a lot of other cultures, it's like a pet is an accessory. It's a showpiece sometimes, especially in, like, I spent a lot of time in Europe. This is my dog, look what he's wearing,
Yeah.
this
Mm.
doing.
Basically, like a status symbol.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Mhm. Yeah. So looking ahead, where do you see Curbicus in like 10 years? Like what's the long-term vision for the company?
I would love to see red Curbicus, my device is red Curbicus cans on every other corner, compostable bins, and everyone composting their dog waste. And it's a normal thing. We're
Mm,
not thinking, wow, that's weird.
mm,
Everyone is doing that without a thought.
mm,
And we're fertilizing green spaces. Everyone's picking up their dog poop, and it's normal, not, the aberration.
mhm. Yeah. Last question from my end, Anna. Like, if you could solve any other problem in the pet industry, like what would it be? Like, what's next on your radar after Curbicus, or any idea that you would like to give in this podcast?
I have other ideas about sustainability. I don't know if they're all in the pet industry, but I can't say.
No problem. You want to keep secrets. Great, great. So yeah, and this has been such an eye-opening conversation. Thank you so much for joining us on the Pet Brand Podcast. Your journey with Go because it's truly inspiring, and it's incredible to see how you have combined innovation, sustainability, and the love for pets to create something that can genuinely make a difference. To everyone
I
tuning
hope
in, if you are excited about Curbicus, as I am, make sure you follow Anna and her team to stay updated on their journey. I will leave all the links in the comment description below. And Anna, thank you so much again for sharing your story.
Thank you for the opportunity. This was great. Thank you so much.
Great, great, great. Yeah.